Hey, good evening. This is Dr. D, and this is my weekly video to you. And tonight I want to just share a little about where I'm at on my journey, okay? Uh, the TikTok is spiritual and transgender, is what it says as I fix my hair here tonight. Um, I saw the Netflix, The Secrets of the River, this last week, and I really got so much out of it. It's really well worth watching. Talks about gender diversity, homophobia, acceptance. Talks about three different types of gender in this town in Mexico: the male, the female, and the musha. And it's 6 episodes. It's really well worth seeing and getting an insight into friendship, getting an insight into what love is, getting an insight as to acceptance. And not to give too much away in the series, but it starts out with this little boy that for whatever reason he has to leave his mother, and he goes to live with his grandmother. And he doesn't play baseball, do all the boy things that the other boys do. And he stands a little kind of different. And he is different than the rest of the boys. And it brought me to mind because I've always known that I was different from people, but I haven't had verbiage as to what that difference was. When I was in college, I went to a Christian college, and I could sing, so I was part of the elite choir, and the girls in the choir tried to teach me how to walk like a man. Now, what I do is like so many people do when you're bullied or insulted, turn it into a joke and just laugh, and try to make a joke on yourself. But the hurt goes so deep that we don't even understand how hurt we really are at that time. And we kind of self-deprecate to get through that. And anyway, I was thinking about this little boy and how he felt so different. And I was thinking about when I was maybe 2, I don't think I was 3 yet. I was playing with this little African American girl, and she wanted to meet her mama. My name was Stephen at the time. So she took me to meet her mama, and she said, "Mama, this is my girlfriend Stevie. She's a girl, but she just looks like a boy." And none of that ever crossed my mind. I never saw her after that. Her mother never let me play with her again. Everything just kind of fell apart, disappeared. Was it because I was a boy that looked like a girl, or a girl that looked like a boy, or was it because I was white, the color of my skin? What was the reason? So things happen that we internalize, and we don't know what the reason is. Some of these outer exterior things happen. And growing up in my life, I was always on the outside looking in. I've always been on the outside, and it hurts. It hurts because we all want to be validated. And we don't get taught that the most important validation comes from the inside of us. We seek the validation out from others, how others see us, how others, if they find us sexy, if others find us intelligent, if others find us funny. We don't look at ourselves and begin to validate who we are. We're not that spiritually evolved or mature to do that. So in growing up, I knew I was different, but I knew there were reasons that I was different. I knew that when I went to live with these people right before I was kindergarten age or first grade, whichever it was, that I had quit speaking. And the result in most of my life is I had, because of all the trauma in my life and abuse in different levels, I quit speaking for about 6 years of my life and didn't utter any sounds. I just went inside because it was safer inside than for me to have to deal with people on the outside, and I just backed off from people. So what was that like? Is that part of the reason I've taken this transgender umbrella uh, journey that I'm on? And so I began to look at these different things, and did that little girl know something that I didn't know? And I remember I didn't play with Barbies, I didn't play with dolls, but I didn't play with fire trucks either. I didn't play football, baseball. I had no interest in it. But I had no interest playing homemaker or all those kind of girly things either. I didn't dress up in uh, girly clothes. I didn't do, So what's the difference from this? I never felt like I was misgendered at my birth, and that I was a a girl born in a male body. I never felt that, but I have always felt that I was two spirit, and I've always felt that I was. There's more than one of me in this body, and trying to figure that one out. And when I got to be in my 30s, my mid to late 30s, I actually was diagnosed with a dissociative identity disorder. Uh, there were personalities, let's say, that even spoke various languages or with accents and things, and we won't go into that at this point, but um, it was a difficult time, and I got diagnosed that um, after a suicide attempt. And we're not here to talk about suicide right now. We're here to talk about my journey, which does include some attempts of suicide, not wanting to suicide, not wanting to uh, get off the planet, but being in so much pain that I wanted the pain to stop, and I didn't know how to make the pain stop. And the body doesn't know the difference between emotional pain and physical pain. That emotional pain can cause that physical pain to the extent that you are just traumatized. And that trauma that you felt as a child can even come to the surface when you're 30 or 40 or 50 years old. Something happens and that trauma comes out, and you feel that pain, and you don't know why you're feeling it, because you thought, oh, I've dealt with that. Well, you have, in a way of pushing it under the carpet. Or maybe you've dealt with it to an extent that you're able to manage, but it really isn't healed, because you can't heal what you can't feel. And you can't feel what you can't name. And I know sometimes in our journeys, we substitute anger for an emotion. We get angry at people, and we get angry at things, and we're angry when we're in the car and we get stopped in traffic and the traffic doesn't move. We're angry when somebody says something disparagingly against us. We're angry when we can't find the right outfit to wear. But the truth is that anger is only hiding something deeper. It's only hiding something that we're not willing to take a look at and name, so that we can begin to feel that at a deeper level and bring healing into that. And my life basically has been about pain management and learning how to deal with the pain in my life, and learning how to deal with the rejection in my life, and learning how to just live. There are still days that my biggest win is that I got out of bed in the morning, that I put one foot on the floor and I got out of the bed, and that I was able to at least pick one thing to be grateful for in the morning, rather than spinning out of control. Ever since the last suicide attempt, I make sure that the windows are open, the curtains are open. There was a time that I shut the curtains, and I only went out after midnight looking for trouble. Looking for love in all the wrong places, when the love has to come from inside of us to us. The Bible says to love your neighbor as yourself. Well, we do. We haven't come to the terms of a real honest expectation and a real honest evaluation of who we are. The being a minister, people have asked me at times, so what is sin? And I simply say this now: sin is when you think you're separate. When you think you're separate from the godness, when you think you're separate from each other, when you think you're separate from another race or another gender, that is sin. Because we're connected. We're connected with a power that is greater than us, and yet a power that is in us at the same time. It's that connection. And it's through divine love that we have our moving and our being. So on this journey, why has it taken 74 years to come into this particular transition? And why now? That's a good question. Why not just either go back to doing shows like I was doing and pretending, or just living as a nice little old person, smiling, patting people on the head, because, hey, I've only got a few more years left anyway, right? Well, that's not the mentality that I've chosen. I've chosen to be authentic and be present. Which brings me to this. We're going back to the river. You thought I was leaving the river. The secrets of the river. They have the male, and you had the female. And then they had the mushas. And when I was part of the gay culture, and I make a difference between LGBTQ plus and the gay culture. Way back when it was same sex, it was the gay and lesbians. There were no other letters at the time. But yet it didn't resonate with me that I was gay. That whole term didn't resonate with me. Neither did the term that I was straight, even though I married a lovely lady. That term did not resonate with my spirit of who I am. And the transgender woman term has not resonated with who I am from my spirit to my outside. However, when I watched the series, The Secret of the Rivers, the mushas I identified with. And I think I said even out loud, I'm a musha. A musha. There's no real male. There's no real female. There's a blend of the two in this human body. Now that was just like a week or so ago that I came to that understanding. Now, what has been detrimental to this journey that I've had to unlearn is the whole God trip. Man, have I had to unlearn so much about that. First, the Bible says that God is spirit. We must worship God in spirit and in truth. I value truth. I value honesty. I understand that we're spirit having a earthly body experience. I get that. But what about this God? Oh, yeah. God is neither male nor female, is what the Bible teaches, King James and all those translations. Well, if God is neither male nor female, then why do we say God the Father? Makes no sense. And if God is a male figure and is the Father, then why did this figure say, thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not? Why would it create us to squeeze us like an ant? Do you know when you love somebody and you marry them, you say, this is my commitment to you. You don't say, thou shalt not do this, 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 and this. You say, this is my commitment to you. As I commit myself to you and you commit yourself to me. This is my commitment. And so, God not being any of the genders, what if God being spirit might be transgender if we have to put a body on it? Or what if God being pure spirit becomes a plant like the burning bush in Genesis that Moses talked to, a talking bush, or becomes a cloud, the cloud by day that guided the children of Israel across the Red Sea, or a pillar of fire by night to guide them? Or what if this Spirit lives in each one of us, and the Spirit lived in the Christ, which we call Jesus, Christ meaning the enlightened one, that Jesus began to be so enlightened that he recognized that God is in him, to the point that he says, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father, still using the Father image. The Father and I are one. To where when he says, you are the light of the world and I am the light of the world, that he recognized that this is simply what we use to give expression to our soul. Let's go back to the Genesis. If we want to go to the Genesis and do it literally, and God made man, which is mankind in the original, mankind, and formed in a clay type of vessel, which, according to science, we and the stars have 99% of the same components, so we could be made of stardust. And when the world collided and there was a big boom, everything split, that this breath or this energy, this godness, came into this vessel that was made. How? I don't know, through the wind, through the rain, or maybe took and fashioned it. And it became a living soul or a living personality. So here we are with this breath within us, you and I, gay, straight, trans, whatever it is, Jew, Gentile, Muslim, whatever it is, red and yellow, black and green, whatever it is. All of us have that spirit within us. And that spirit is one of love. That spirit is one of being in right standing with ourselves and with each other. And as we move into that spirit of kindness, that spirit of gentleness, that spirit of giving, Thanksgiving is coming up, being thankful, practicing gratitude. As we move into that spirit, then that connection with a power greater than us that is us at the same time becomes stronger. Did you ever think when we talk about goodness, that all goodness is godness extended? Throw another G, another O on God, and what do you have? Good. Godness. As I'm expressing goodness, I'm expressing godness out into the world. So where am I at on my journey? This is the physical of what you see. I'm getting ready to go in for some surgery. No, not that surgery. I know what you're thinking. I'm going in to have this done, to be a younger version. Oh, well, I don't know if a younger version. Let's just say a finer version of myself. You know, can I say it this way? A little paint on an old barn never did anybody any harm. And if we can use our resources to enhance more of what the physical is, not to be caught up to the extent of our ego or our small self, because remember, ego is edge God out. But our big self, that authentic God self within us, that we're making changes to enhance ourself so that we are able to, in our humanity, express the godness to humanity, to express the love for humanity. Because, my friends, love is all that's real. Love is all there really is. This hate and division, that's insanity. And what you focus on expands. And if you focus on the hate and judgmentalness, that will expand. But if you focus on asking the divine to flow through you, as you, dear divine, dear creator, dear source, flow through me, touching humanity, making people's lives better, making this world better. And as you do that, and somebody else does it, and as you let your light shine, you give other people permission to let their light shine. Can you imagine if, Quincy Jones just died today, right? And he was the one that put that marvelous song together a few years ago, We Are the World. All these great vocal artists in the room singing all the different parts. I think it was a Thing for Humanity or a Thing for Africa or something, the song was. But we are the world. And my point is the energy in that room while they were singing the positiveness We are the world. And when you and I begin to look at each other, we say, we are the world. Girl, we are the world. Boy, we are the world. We are love. We are love, sharing who we are. And when we begin to really get that, then our world begins to change. Begins to change, because you know what? We will go at any cost to change the world when we believe that we can through this power of love. Until next week, this is Dr. D saying, be love, be light, be kindness, and I'll see you next week.